Well, hi everyone, welcome to today's discussion. I hope you're all doing well and staying healthy and safe, of course. And now, the escalation between the US, Israel, and also Iran is not just a headline for the political junkies. It really hits many companies right here and, of course, there in the daily operation, especially for the airline and transportation business. Well, before we start it out, thanks for PAC Consulting Services, platform and sharing great insights for news in pa-academy.com, and also some sort of services offered as well. So you may contact PAC Consulting Service if you would like to do research, you would like to start up your business, scale up, and everything, and so on and so forth. Well, secondly, thank you so much for Bimantara Express. So this is the express courier company that is offering some drop shipping solution as well as shipping your packets worldwide. Well, again, lastly is actually we have also ebook that is available in this channel. Right now, why are we talking about this now? Because mostly, or particularly in aviation, a single spark on the other side of the world can create a domino effect that changes our security protocol overnight. So we have to be aware of these ones. Well, you know that we are thinking of strict measures is like silt. We cannot afford to overlook even smallest bit of intelligent and suspicious behavior on the floor. Well, so in this special session, I want to share and to dive into two major big insight, which is hijacking, handling, and bomb threat. Again, like hijacking and bomb threat that we are going to discuss about. So we keep our passengers safe without any losing control of them. Well, these topics are huge. We are not just doing a good job or doing a protocol. We are building the security instinct we need for unpredictable load. All right, let's get started into this topic. Well, now it's actually the first threat that might rise up just because there is a war taking place in the Middle East. So hijacking could be possibly a threat that we have to be really aware of. So in the handling procedure, the golden rule is simple: safety first. Passenger is the first priority, crew is number two, and plane is number three. Well, usually the crew will cooperate with the hijacker unless the pilot in command decide to do whatever requested and ordered, instructed by the hijacker, which is probably more dangerous, yeah. And then in this case, pilot authority is absolute. So from the moment the door closed until the door opened again, the pilot has a final word, final ultimate decision maker. They can make executive call without waiting for the HQ approval or somebody else. He is the single stakeholder primary person that must decide. So, of course, they are being trained to stay aligned with the company policy, of course. Well, so the communication can be built. So outside authority, of course, there must be communication as much as possible. So the point is actually the stick in a safety verse is the principle. Well, management call in this case could be, well, if the hijacker is really pushing very hard. Well, normally they come up with some requests and demand, like paying ransom and then providing fuel and then swapping crew, whatever, and so on and so forth. So, of course, in this case, the pilot must engage with the high level of management to make a further decision and authorities as well. Well, in terms of communication in this hijacking handling, so, well, chain of command, as soon as the hijacking is flagged, so of course the nearest station need to hit up flight operation, the ops director, and safety manager. instruction will flow down from HQ and also crisis center normally. Well, this diplomatic channel is very important as well, especially if this is international flight. So there must be urgent touch with the urgent communication with the embassy or consulate on the line immediately, especially if the plane might land in their territory. They are our bridge to local government. And then blacked out, meaning that all information regarding to the hijacking must be locked down to prevent leak. So in this case, of course, we have to be able to manage media, which is media control. So media really want a scoop, want a news. However, we need to remind them that the reporting detail can get people injured or might be murdered or killed. We need to limit the fine print and the news for everyone just before we get a fact. We cannot speculate in such kind of situation. And then that's actually some basic handling procedures. If in an event of post-release procedure, yeah, of course, it is for passengers' well-being. It is pretty same like other irregularity, like a delay or flight cancellation protocol. Like we have to give immediate care, get food, water, medical requirement, ready as soon as possible. And then the rest is actually more stern, what is that, extra services we have to provide to passengers. Like we have to protect passengers from the press, get them to a private area to meet their families next of kin, and then don't force them to talk, and then don't ban them if they really want to. Yeah, so and then crew separation. Of course, we have to segregate crew with the other passengers. This is very vital because the crew is having encountered such kind of a very stressful situation. Of course, crew will be briefed or debriefed on what is actual situation and what to do before they see the reporter. And for the spokesperson in the front of the camera, normally pilot speaks for the crew. Keep it short and factual. And then if the reporter pushes for sensitive info, just say, well, for future security reason, it won't be appropriate for me to answer that right away. So we are going to give a press release on a management schedule, something like that. Yeah, and then of course, no finger pointing, never badmouth the authorities or the police or another security official in public. So that's actually the norm of communication. Well, now is action list or might be what else can be done. So airport to-do list. If this happens, so they have to keep HQ updated on log every single event, and then brief local staff and have whoever, doctor, hospital, could be cleric, could be whoever, yeah, that are necessary to do some post-mortem activity or some recovery action. And then pre-transportation and secure communication in at the airport, and then keep detailed log of the passengers and crew information, and then also keep phone and line open 24/7 services, and then work with the Red Cross maybe for passengers welfare, food, drink, and whatever. And that is actually the thing we have to be doing for the airport handling. Well, in terms of pilot communication, whenever the hijacker are still on board, so actually the aircraft can manage to have some communication with air traffic controller. Yeah, however, if the pilot report air traffic controller, meaning that there are no hijacker around, if they cannot speak freely, they use kind of a comfort signal via voice or a transponder. Yeah. And then there is also the TRIP code. Yeah. So guys, these all are basically real information that is derived from the manual handling. So this is called TRIP code. This is a classic. So the crew sleep the word TRIP, meaning this is a emergency situation. So whenever the air traffic controller repeated back, it means they got your message discreetly, just because you cannot talk to them freely, just because the hijacker are around. And then critical ground signal. If things are basically so desperate, becoming more desperate on the ground. So we need an arm intervention. So the pilot will drop a flag to full down and set the transponder to, yeah, this is basically very technical. Transponder into 700. So it's kind of very crisis and emergency situation. Well, that's actually the communication that is done by pilot to air traffic control mostly. Well, now dealing with the hijacker. If they get into the cockpit, tell them, we are not going to fight you. Ask them politely not to touch any panel or control panel in the cockpits because it is going to be like so dangerous. If they demand suicidal or impossible, explain that is slowly and keep it in mind. They are likely a very unstable mental state. So in this case, that the pilot have to be like more steady in terms of mentality, so they can manage to soothe, pacify the hijacker. Well, that's actually some guideline how to handle hijack, yeah, whether passengers or crew on board or whether it is on the ground. Well, second threat that might be a reason, or if there is a war, so that is a so-called bomb threat. Yeah. Again, then the goal is actually we have to save life. So procedure can change on the fly if or on the ground flexibly. But of course, the most objective is saving life, save life, yeah. And then classifying the threat. So a threat can be divided into two classification, which is high alert, which is specific, and then vague or non-specific. What is meant by specific or high alert? We know who, what, and where. It's, for instance, flight number is accurate, and then time is also accurate. Where is going to be like taking place is also accurate. So there must be immediate search to the aircraft or maybe to wherever mentioned by the caller in terms of bomb threat. If non-specific, like a fake information or general, there is a bomb at the airport, something like that only, and then well, we have to monitor the situation, but a full search is not really mandatory, of course, depending on the situation. If escalate and then get to specific information, so the specific protocol is going to be like executed. And then handling the aircraft. So if on the ground, if parked, evacuate and move the plane to the bomb spot. So it's normally 100 meters away from terminal, from whoever living being, yeah, and stop immediately until, if it is a taxiing, meaning that the aircraft is taxiing to the runway, is going to take off. So they must make immediate stop and try to classify and qualify the information whether this is a real bomb threat or not. And whenever it is in the air, safety manager will brief the pilot whether to turn back or land to the nearest station. And a joint decision is going to be like executed by them, by the crisis center normally. Yeah. And then for the luggage checks, passenger need to identify their own bag to spot unidentified item. Yeah, and cargo also, it have to be like sent back to the warehouse to have further examination and X-ray. And then for finding and handling devices, and then the search crew also need to check a bin, pocket, toilet, wherever it is. Mechanic check a cockpit, look for anything unidentified, and then strange thing, or we call it as actually foreign object, so FOD. So that is really necessary to be executed in the first level. And then, all right, so this is the thing that is how to handle a bomb threat. When in bomb threat, of course, normally coming from the incoming call. So what to do if somebody is receiving such kind of a bomb threat? So number one, if you are somebody who pick up, so we have to listen closely, yeah, We have to take note and pretend that you can't hear things clearly or well, so they can speak slowly and clearly. And then play it cool. Act like it's a prank to keep them talking, but keep digging for the location. And then we have to be buying time or hold trick, yeah? If they get the pushy, ask them to hold while you have to prolong the conversation and get supervisor or security who are really expert in such kind of situation, something like that. And then misdirection as well. Tell them, oh no, this flight number is not available. Maybe some, we have to prolong. And how do they react on such kind of response? If they mention, this is triggering them to mention specific information on what flight number and everything, any other information. Yeah, and of course money talk. If they alibi or the objective is money, normally they also can disclose what actually they call, so we can identify whether this is a real request, real demand, or something or not. And then of course we have to get this informed to authority and also management as soon as possible. And then a signal to coworker. If we are using a signal to our coworker, especially whoever around, and then to trigger them to activate detection system on their location. We have to trace if it is possible as soon as possible. And then don't hang up the call, so keep the line open. And normally if we are so that the line is closed, the choice, why we have to prolong it? Well, to be able to trace the caller. Well, and then don't talk to press, report to your boss, and fill the checklist accordingly. So that's actually to whom receiving the call that the guidance could be done. Well, this is more interesting, yeah? If eventually somebody crew or somebody in the airport is actually finding the bomb, yeah? So we are not the expert, but there is legal guidance that can be followed. Like number one, don't cut the wires or pull batteries because it might have a backup trigger. And then try to jam the clock with whatever can be matchstick if there is a gap. If you find a grenade with no pin, use a hairpin maybe, or tie the lever down very tightly. Okay, so that's actually the normal protocol you can follow. And then if we are lifting it up, don't just lift it up. Slide a piece on a hard plastic or underneath first. If you feel resistant, you have to be very careful in this case, yeah? If you have to move weight, keep it in the exactly same orientation. Do not tilt it up, tilt it down. So it have to be like exact orientation. Well, those things, something which is not expected, yeah? If we find bomb on the space, well. If there is threat in the building, so the procedure is evacuation immediately. If the threat in a specific location, of course, we have to rescue and then call the authority to have immediate search. And then call authority, police or military people or whoever specialist, governmental authority. Yeah, and then stay ready until the pros meaning the professional stays okay, everything is good to go and everything has been in a green alert. Well guys, I think those are the thing that can be shared today. So bomb threat and hijack can be secondary thing that might be triggered by a war that is being taken place in the Middle East right now. Well, I think thank you so much for joining the channel, and then I'll see you again next channel. So again, thank you and stay safe, stay healthy, and goodbye for now.